We are so back. Spring is in the air, sun's out, single speed is out. Let's go for a rip. We're kicking things off in the town of Kingston, Ontario today. We were here for a concert, but we actually used to live here a while back, so we have a lot of good memories rooted here. Before we begin, I have to say how good it felt to feel my regular bike underneath me again. I haven't looked forward to the spring with this much intensity in a long while. So anyway, let's go check some stuff out. There's a handful of spots around town we were excited to visit, and later in the video, we'll be back in Ottawa for our first ride of the year there. Kingston is a university town, but it's also a lot more than that. Our experience here starts with Emma's time at Queen's University. I won't say how long ago that was. She got her Bachelor of Fine Arts here and specialized in painting and printmaking. We're biased, but we find this to be a really beautiful campus. There's a lot of cool history to check out here. For starters, Kingston was actually the original capital of Canada, and that dates back to 1841. For us, Kingston was largely a big party, and actually this ride was the day after St. Paddy's Day, so folks were moving a little slower. We were 18 when we were first hanging out here, and bikes weren't really part of our lives then. It was more of a work hard, play hard type life, as now I feel like it's work hard, play appropriately, and sleep hard. Anyway, it was fun to reflect as we rolled around, which brings us to our first stop.
Think of a lot in these stairwells as just getting bread and butter and coming back up the stairs and then just eating butter sandwiches.
This was the only building on campus we popped into as we didn't have too much time, but this was where Emma became the amazing artist that she is. We didn't want to disturb the painters, but the printmaking room was open and it was fun to reminisce about the limestone lithography and have a look at some works in progress. It's not widely practiced anymore, but it's a pretty cool screen printing method that's essentially grinding down a slab of rock, drawing on it with grease, putting it through a chemical process, and then turning it into a massive stamp. Before we go any further, I want to say a quick thank you to the folks at Lightlock. They're not sponsoring this video, but they did send me this lock that I'm trying out today. Thanks a bunch. My all-time favorite band is from Kingston. Actually, it's safe to say a large part of Canada's favorite band is from Kingston. They're called the Tragically Hip, and there's a lot of reasons to love them. I debated listing any because I can go on all day, which makes me think, what's that band for you? What's that can of worms that if you open, it's going to be long-winded? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't heard the Tragically Hip, cue up a record. My favorite is an album called Phantom Power, but lately I've been enjoying their latest record called Man Machine Poem. So right below campus is Lake Ontario, and in recent years the area was redeveloped to be Canada's first urban deep water swimming pier. City Council also decided to name the pier after the Tragically Hip's lead singer, Gord Downie. I was really excited to check this spot out as it's changed a lot from when we used to hang out here. Also, in case you're wondering, the ice was not stopping people from jumping in the lake. Gord was a pretty amazing human, a true poet, and in my opinion, one of the best lyricists in rock and roll. Gord's humanitarian work is also really impressive. A long-standing part of that was his partnership with an organization called Swim Drink Fish. Their work aims to restore the health of local waters. So I think it's really cool to see him memorialized in this specific spot that so many people enjoy, and also a place that meant so much to him personally. Just up the road is Canada's oldest maximum security prison. It's now a museum, but it was closed today, which is okay because we needed a coffee. We didn't have a refined palate for coffee when we lived here. Emma and I are both from a small remote town, so growing up, coffee didn't go beyond Tim Hortons. When we lived here, I remember thinking Starbucks was extraordinary, and by going there, I was somehow this whole new person. I don't think I had even seen steamed milk before. But anyway, this now meant that the coffee shops here were new to us, and Reddit told us that this place knew what's up, and it was pretty great. It was late in the day, so we just kept it to a quick hit of coffee before moving on to one more spot. Moment of truth.
Still there.
Still there. Before we move on, how about a quick bike check? Starting with my All City Super Professional. This bike is set up single speed and the gear ratio is 44:18, which I actually find to be too spinny, so I gotta change that up this year. In the cockpit, I'm running pretty darn flat needle bars, that's laced to a Thompson stem. I'm also running these fancy looking Shimano GRX crank arms on this bike with a wolf tooth chainring. If you want a detailed look at this bike, check out my full review video in the description. Moving on to Emma's Bassi Hogsback. God, I love looking at this bike. Emma's been slowly customizing this bike, and over the winter she stole this White Industries headset from me, also this bottom bracket and this crankset. To be honest, I think they all look better on her bike, but I do want those crank arms back. Emma's also been looking for a new saddle and has been learning all there is about Brooks lately, so we'd love to hear your thoughts between the Brooks B17 and the C17 models. Do you have any preference? Do you have any experiences to share? Let us know. Our final stop of the day was where the Tragically Hip played their last ever show. The city renamed the street to the Tragically Hip Way, and I was itching to get my picture taken with the big hip sign. In case this isn't obvious by now, the lead singer of the Tragically Hip, Gord Downie, passed away in 2017. It's kind of a wild story, but shortly after Gord received news of terminal brain cancer, the band announced a 15-show tour across Canada, which ended right here. This ultimately served as a final farewell, and I don't think I've ever witnessed anyone do something quite like this. It was extremely heavy to witness. This documentary follows that tour, and if you want a deeper dive into the Tragically Hip, this new documentary by Gord's brother does an excellent job of documenting their entire career. We wrapped up our day in Kingston with a concert, some great food, and then it was back home to Ottawa. Yesterday was plus 19 degrees and today is minus 5 degrees Celsius. So we're used to it. March is pretty much always like this. You finish a long winter and it just feels unbelievable again to get out on a normal bike. Everything feels light. Like my single speed bike right now feels like a bullet. This is a glorious moment right now. I'm having an exceptionally good time sitting here in the sun, taking a break from a pretty regular old ride around town on my single speed. So appreciative of just riding a bike at a normal speed on nice dry surfaces and not worrying about snow and ice and freezing fingers and all those things. It's a beautiful thing. We're super lucky. You look like a scuba diver.
It's scuba season.
Scuba Steve over here. I figure I'll take a moment to let you know my first impressions on this bike lock I'm testing. For starters, I like that it's lined with reflective strips. I like to wear my U-lock on my waist in a holster, so anything to make cars see me more, that's great. Speaking of holsters, my favorite one made by Atwater did not fit around this lock, so I guess the lock is a little wider than my Kryptonite lock, but Lightlock does sell a holster made by Restrap, so no worries there. I don't plan on taking a saw to this lock because theft is pretty bad here and I plan on using this, but everything I've seen online tells me it basically eats angle grinder discs for breakfast. The outer layer is this fused composite called Baronium. It's not heavier than a Kryptonite lock, but these locks are never light to begin with. Thanks so much for watching the video, and if you want to support the channel, liking and subscribing is totally free. Also, if you want to check out bikebreath.com, buying something there helps us out tremendously, and we're starting to sell more than just merch, so keep an eye out over the year. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. All right, take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one.